Well, they closed down the mill and they closed down the mine. They said you can't work but pay your taxes on time. Got 3 little babies gonna starve to death or freeze. We started making white lightning, it was Grandpa's recipe. Run, rebel, run to nowhere. Run, rebel, run to the Scott County Jail.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. We are back live here on the Jailhouse Informant podcast, and you're locked in with us for the next hour. And I'm excited to be back. It's been a minute.
It has been, I was setting up the microphone here and I'm like, gosh, what was the last episode that we did? It's been a while, for some reason, I guess, because there's a lot of spring break going on and everything, finding guests to get on that can work with their schedules for Thursday evening. It seems kind of tough here in the spring, but hopefully now that we're coming out of hibernation and weather's starting to get good, hopefully we can find some great guests to go forward on our podcast.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you're stuck. Oops, I don't know why this is playing out loud. Excuse me about that. So in the meantime, you're stuck with hearing us for the next little bit. I think the last show that we did, we were going to have a guest, an herbalist on, and they had to cancel last minute. So we ended up doing a podcast. One of our ones that we've done the last little bit are They Did Time, where we highlighted some of our favorite paranormal, not necessarily our favorite, but some of the more recent paranormal captures that have been caught at the jail. And things have really been hopping. People have been kicking off the 2025 with lots of investigations here so far.
Yeah, the jail's really been doing its thing. So look forward to more of those They Did Time episodes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people are starting to send in some captures that they found, whether it be audio or video. Sorry, my co-host. So whether it be video or audio or something like that, a lot of people have been sending in different clips to us. And, we've been able to debunk a few little things, but otherwise there's a lot of stuff that we can't debunk that's happening in the jail right now. So if you're a paranormal investigator and you want to investigate the historic Scott County Jail, get on our calendar because the next few months are actually pretty packed. So you're probably going to roll into summer before you can get on it.
Yeah, we've and that booking is for both the jail or for historic rugby. Let me pull up those links right here. You can go to historicscottcojail.com or you can go to historyhighwayshaunts.com, and you can either click for the jail or click for rugby and find all of our great tours that we have. We have a lot of those. We're doing those every Thursday through Sunday night for our lantern and our flashlight tours. We've also got our escape room. We've had several bookings of that recently. If you've not tried our escape room, Chris has done an amazing job putting that escape room together. And I mean, from what I've heard from the people who have been in there, I mean, people come all the way from Sevierville, Gatlinburg, and really around the country. They stop in and do the escape room, and they say it's comparable to the big ones that are out there. So wonderful job, Chris.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And so we'll be making some more announcements hopefully soon about some new escape room opportunities that are going to be coming on board here to our repertoire of service offerings. But, as Miranda said, we just have a lot going on right now and coming out of a really cold winter. Hopefully those cold weather days are behind us for a few months. So it was beautiful here today and had a really great day with tours coming in. But yeah, get on our calendar, get on our tours, get on a paranormal investigation because it is a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, guided ghost hunts. We
Mhm.
have those open as well. What we try to do, we've got our calendar open. I know we've not opened the October through December yet, but I think we can probably go ahead and get that open if somebody's wanting to do an investigation at the end of the year.
Mhm.
But you can come in, you get the location if you're looking to do something kind of different. If you have a larger team, we've got 2 locations, and sometimes people don't realize that those 2 locations are so close to each other. They're only 20 miles apart. And so you can actually come here to Scott County, and you can stay and make a full weekend of it and have a bunch of investigations, and even investigate your lodging. So
Mhm.
I think a lot of people don't always realize that whenever they're booking.
Yeah, yeah, we probably should do a map that
Yeah.
just says, here's Rugby, here's the jail, 20 minutes between the 2 and 2 great investigation spots.
Yeah, yeah. And so Nancy brings up a good point over here,
Yes.
talking about the weather being something else. It really, really has, especially here in our area. It seems like every single week we have had some type of severe weather or fires or something in this area. So, first off, our thoughts and prayers are out there to all the different folks that have experienced some tornado and storm damage. I mean, this stuff has been no joke lately. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. And it seems like the activity at the jail has actually kind of responded to some of these meteorological events, as well as some of the things that we've experienced, because we've had some really cool sky phenomenon
Mhm.
with eclipses, and we were just talking about one today, that's
Yeah,
weekend.
and we'll put this out to the group if anybody wants to comment on this. But I mean, we've got a solar eclipse coming up on Saturday. Now, granted, it's going to be early, so this would be a labor of love from us to you. But we're kicking around the idea of doing an early morning investigation during the eclipse on Saturday morning. So I think it's supposed to start at 6:15 a.m. Eastern time here at the jail. So the last time we had a solar eclipse, we did an investigation. Now, granted, that was during the afternoon, but had some interesting things happen at the jail. So we may try that again. It will be a little early for us, and we'll have to be on the road right after to a Paracon in Kentucky. But it could be something kind of interesting if we do a daytime or a morning investigation this coming Saturday to coincide with the solar eclipse.
I think at that point, we're either gonna get people that have not gone to bed yet, so investigators that have just come out of the Waffle House and not gone to bed yet, or people who gets up that early on a Saturday other
Yeah,
than
I mean,
us
maybe
that
if
work?
they think that they know they can watch us, maybe that would be a selling feature to get up and set your alarm for early morning. Who knows? I mean, Nando will be
I
it,
was gonna
it,
say
it is afternoon.
midday.
Yeah, so Nando, you want to make some popcorn and join us Saturday morning?
Bring our
Uh,
UK crowd out.
yeah, there you go. Bring our international followers over. But it could be something kind of interesting. You got this, solar eclipse. It could be something that brings out some different energy, especially in the jail.
I may leave that to you. You can maybe handle that investigation.
Yeah,
Since
Susan, we would take a nap that afternoon, but we literally have to be on the road to Kentucky at about 8:30 Saturday morning to do a Paracon up there. So it would make for a very long day because we also have an investigation on the jail that night. So, like I said, it may be a little difficult to do, but it could be a lot of fun.
Well, and that leads us to a good point on this, because we've got the Vet City Paracon
Mhm.
that is going to be taking. Well, actually, it's not a Paracon. It is a horror pop culture. I think paranormal is only a small little piece of this,
Well, we're
but
gonna make it big, you and me.
Beth Allen
Yeah, and yeah,
from
Beth Allen will be
Octagon
there.
Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's apparently a really big Paracon that takes place there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at the National Corvette Museum. We're very excited to be a part of that. We did
Mhm.
have one of the founders of it, Chad Shepard, there with Offbeat Horror. He came on our show. I can't remember if he came on there in December or January. I think it was maybe like the end of December.
Mhm.
And so he came on and he talked about his true crime convention as well as this convention. And so if I think it's like maybe their 9th year or something that they're doing it. I mean, it's been going for a long time, and apparently they have quite a few people that come out. So we're really excited to be able to be a part of this, representing the jail and historic rugby. And then, of course, our own paranormal teams, Ghost Biker and Soul Sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in the Bowling Green, Kentucky area on Saturday, this coming Saturday, please stop by and see us and see all the great guests that they're going to have. Everything from different actors who have been in some pretty major films, to other paranormal investigators, to just different speakers and such. So it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to be a part of this. And we've been on the schedule of this for, I don't know why this is doing this. Let me fix this view here. Apparently, when StreamYard changed all of their stuff, whenever you present something, and normally when you remove it from the screen, it pulls you back up, but this doesn't do that. So, yeah, so I'm trying to relearn this here. Anyways, so it seems like it's been on the schedule for a long time, so it's exciting that it's now upon us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like you said, I'm very excited about it. We're going to meet some great people. We're going to see some friends of ours. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that being said, we will be closed on Saturday for our normal business hours, which is, of course, 11 to 4. So if you're planning to come see us on Saturday, unfortunately, we won't be open during the daytime. Normally, Chris and I don't usually do events at the same time, but when you get a good opportunity to be able to go and represent for such a big audience, it's kind of a challenge sometimes, manning the booth and stuff by yourself. And since we're representing 4 different entities here, it's a good opportunity. So it's about a 3-hour drive for us, and so, but we will have the paranormal team that's going to be investigating on Saturday night. So Saturday is definitely going to be quite a full day.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah. So, let's just see, what else do we have here? And Nancy, thank you. You are doing an amazing job segueing us into each of our topics. I love
We should have her as a moderator.
We really should. And I actually love this. It just goes to show that people are paying attention and watching. And I got to say, Nancy, she tunes in every week, and she's always so supportive of what we're doing. So thank you. So speaking of that, I actually have that to pull up on the screen here about our wonderful visitor that we had yesterday. There we go. If I can find it. It's always really cool whenever we have VIPs stop into the area, and whenever we're included on these tours, being in a small rural community here in East Tennessee, I think people don't always know all the beauty that's in the area and all the cool things that there is to do around here. And so yesterday we were visited by Senator Haggerty's field rep. Oh my gosh, why is her name escaping me right quick? Let's see. Emily McCall. Sorry about that, Emily. But Mayor Jeffers, he did bring Miss McCall over, and we were able to give her a tour of the jail and share the history, as well as a little bit of she was interested in the paranormal tourism side of things. And so we were able to share that with her. And so that was a fun day to be able to be included. They did take her around and show her a couple of the different businesses in the area. And like I said, it was really cool to be included on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's always fun, to your point, when we can get some people in here to kind of see what we do and how we do it. For this area, we are kind of a distressed county here in Scott County, or in East Tennessee. So to have these representatives come in to take a look at what we do and really appreciate what we do, it's really something spectacular. So thank you to Mayor Jeffers for setting that up and including the jail in the stops.
Yeah, and thank you all that follow our page and everything
Mhm.
for this, because that was one of the things that we spoke about on the tour yesterday. She was very curious about how paranormal tourism and historic tourism, how that is bringing folks into the area, and so to be able to tell them that people are coming from all over just to hear the history and experience the paranormal, as well as watching our show and learning about it was something I think she found it quite enlightening as to
Mhm.
the interest that's there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we're very proud of, right? The amount of people that we have that really take an interest and support what we do. You may not think it's very important just getting on here and watching our podcast or liking our channel or liking our comments or our page or anything like that, but it really does help because people see that there is the interest out there. So kudos to everybody in the chat and kudos to everybody who watches this and follows us, because that is very important. It may seem insignificant, but to us it's huge because it does show that there is interest out there in what we're doing.
And it affects so many other
Mhm.
businesses in the
It
community.
does.
We were just talking about this earlier about how when you come and visit the jail, you're eating at the restaurants, you're
Mhm.
looking at other cool things to do and getting gas at the locations. And for such a distressed county, that's
It's big.
huge. It
It
is
is.
absolutely huge. So thank you all so much for everything you do. And while I'm plugging that, if you have been to the area, or if you enjoy the podcast, or really anything about what we're doing, we would really truly appreciate a Google review,
Yes.
because that helps even more so to get the word out about where we're at and what we're doing, so that people can find us and be able to come and experience it. So
Yep. So on Google, it's the historic Scott County Jail. Just go on there. If you could just even leave us a couple stars, 5 stars, if you really enjoy us, and just say something about the podcast. And because to Miranda's point, every little bit helps just get the word out about what we do.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
Sally, you can say that you love Sally.
That's right. That's right. And so speaking of Sally, I know you got something over there beside
Yes.
of you other than Sally to
Yes, I
show.
got the little mock-up of Sally. So these are some cool stuff that we have at our gift shop now. So this is our new little glitter sticker with Sally highlighted. That's her intimidating jail warden pose.
and
So we do have these on the gift shop and on the online page.
and other than the sales tax on it, 100% of the money for the cost of those goes to buying treats and food, and most importantly litter for
That is
the
the important part.
yeah, that pays Sally's bills right there. And then I'm excited. I literally just got these back today. I don't know if you can see them.
They're
These
really
are
cool.
new holographic stickers, and these are kind of a nod to our paranormal investigators. They're our I Did Time historic Scott County Jail stickers that and they're pretty large. They're like a 3x3
Hmm.
sticker. So you can get that. This doesn't even do it justice.
No.
What Chris had there was the glitter one, so it's a little bit different. But this is our holographic sticker. So
Hmm.
we've got all of that added in the gift shop there. We're trying to add some new items. Possibly soon, maybe even some new shirt designs and some postcards, some new magnets, some really cool things. We're trying to add those little by little. So,
Hmm.
and oh yeah. Susan asked if Sally loved her bank robber toys. She did. I think there was, I
They're
think
all
there's some actually in the
laying
floor
around.
right there behind her that she was playing with.
Yeah, the little mouse is right here, and then the little money bag is right over here on the other side of the wall. So yeah, she plays with them a lot. She bats them around, so
Yes.
it keeps her fit and trim and in shape, right, Silly Bean?
Yes, thank you, Susan. We've had some people that have, when they come on their investigations, they bring an offering to the queen there. So she had Susan has been so sweet and generous that she sent as a Halloween gift, wasn't it,
Yeah.
for Sally? And then when they came and investigated rugby, they brought some toys, and it was cool because they were bank robber toys.
Yes.
So Sally does love playing those around, and so you may even hear her kick some of that stuff around here in a little bit before if she gets up. So let's see, we've got those new items, and then I'm really excited about this because our annual Blessing of the Bike
Yeah.
event is coming up here. Let me get that pulled up. We've been heavily advertising this for a little over a month now, and this is going to take place on April 12th. This is technically our 4th annual Blessing of the Bikes. Let me see if I can make that full screen there. So it's our 4th annual Blessing of the Bikes. And the Christian Motorcyclists Association, Servants of Jesus, out of Jacksboro, Clinton area, Tennessee, they're going to be coming and doing the blessing. What's really cool about this, it is a roll through bike blessing. So sometimes whenever you come and do these, like they have the actual blessing at a certain time, but we are doing it throughout the entire day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. where you just, if you're out on a ride with your friends, or if you're getting ready to take a ride, or if you're just looking for something to do, you can come in anytime, roll through their tent. You'll get your blessing. You can stop and spend a little time with us. We will have some tables set out front because we're going to have live music with Bethi Lewis and the Electric Pineapple. And you might say, if you've not ever heard any of her music, that's not 100% true. If you watch our podcast, you have, because she sings the intro to our show that we do every Thursday night, Run Rebel Run. She wrote that specifically about the incident of Sheriff Richard Ellis's murder there at the front door. And so she's actually coming all the way down from Michigan, and she's going to be playing from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. that day. And we will have breakfast biscuits that you can purchase, and you can also get tickets to tour the jail museum while you're there. So we got a full day plan. Very excited about this.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And, Sally will make an appearance there as well. So the whole gang will be here. Susan, I know she's coming up. Thank you so much for supporting Bethi Lewis and us at the jail here. So it'll be a lot of fun seeing you. And thank you, Susan, for sharing that information out. Even if you can't come, if you could just share this information out, because it does bring exposure to the jail, to the area. And so the more people we can get here, because if you haven't been to the jail, it's kind of interesting because it sits on the back of the square. So you either have to kind of be looking for it or come to it for a reason. And so if we can get people more exposure back here, and people can see that things are going on, that we have a lot of activity back by our jail, it does, again, really help. So thank you, Susan, for sharing that out. And if anybody else would like to do so, we'd really appreciate it.
Yes. And Lisa had mentioned that she had come last year, and that I think we had a food truck last year and several different things. We are still closing the road down back here. So it's kind of like a little block party on our little cell block right there. So it's and again, it is a 100% free event. I know we mentioned that we will have breakfast biscuits there available for purchase. And then of course the jail, but if you just want to come, we did have someone ask that if they don't ride motorcycles, can they still come? Absolutely. Yes. We hope you do. We hope you'll take a tour of the jail, but if you don't, then come on out and just check out all the cool bikes, because we've had a lot of every year it gets bigger. And so we actually have had a really cool response from a lot of different groups saying that they're planning to come. So fingers crossed that the weather holds out. Yeah, and be our biggest one. So I'm excited to have live music this year.
Me too. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So just come on out, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Sorry, I'm checking off my list because I know we've had a lot of really cool things going on. That same week so that's going to be taking place April 12th. On April 10th, which is the Thursday night beforehand, just want to make mention of a programming note here. We will actually be on the Thrive in Chaos podcast with Christy Bailey. She invited us to be on the show. Her show just happens to take place at the same time as ours does. So we're going to invite everyone over to her channel to listen to I don't, who knows what she's going to ask. I mean, but it should be a fun discussion nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely come over and check that out. So,
yep.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Jumping on into May, because April's pretty full. I know we've got a lot of there's actually a few more things that's going on. We've got some bookings. I know I'm going to be speaking at an event at St. Albans there at the end of April. Going on into May, we're going to be part of the on May 17th Mountain Laurel Festival, which is going to take place there in Wartburg, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes or so from here. So
Mm-hmm.
going to be part of that. And if I can get this keyed up here on that exact same day. So one of us will be at the festival there. The other will be, sorry, I've got people messaging me. Let me
So
minimize.
popular tonight.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying not to pull everything up that's people messaging. And so, all right. And so on that same day, May 17th, we literally just got this scheduled. So this is extremely exciting for us as well. So a few weeks ago, we had Eric Freeman Sims, who is the author of Small Town Haunts and Legends of Tennessee, as well as the Unseen Paranormal podcast. And also the Night House. He owns the Night House there. So we had him on the show, and we were talking about his book that he just released earlier. I guess it was there in February. And so he is going to come and do a book signing here there at the jail on May 17th, same day that we're going to be doing the Mountain Laurel Festival. So we'll have a lot more information about that, where you'll be able to come, and if you take a tour of the jail, you'll be able to meet Eric, purchase his book. The jail, as well as historic rugby, is featured in his book, and from what I've seen, I mean, it's a nice reference guide of legends and haunts here in our state.
Yeah, he did a great job with this. A lot of research went into this. So he highlights a lot of cool locations, some of which, a lot of people haven't even heard of. And so to be able to have him here kind of representing his book, representing the Night House, as well as kind of representing historic rugby after dark, as well as the historic Scott County Jail, it's going to be a lot of fun. So please mark your calendars to come and meet Eric, get a copy of his book, an autographed copy of his book, because it'll help him, it'll help the jail. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, and I think from what we've been discussing with him, he's going to we may be able to offer some copies here in our gift shop as well. So anytime we can support our local authors, and also that have written books about the locations, we absolutely love being able to put that in our gift shop. Yeah. So definitely kicking the season off to a great start. So we hope you guys will be part of that. And whether you're visiting us at one of these different conventions or also local festivals, and if you have any thoughts or ideas of locations that we should check out as far as festivals and stuff that is fairly close, we're trying to hit more of the local festivals in this area.
And if you know anybody who would like to be a guest on our podcast, as I said at the top of the hour, for some reason it's kind of difficult right now, this little gap of time. We've had a couple people cancel as guests, and just finding people that can fit it into their calendar to come on a Thursday night has been a little challenging. So if you know of anybody who would like to be a guest on our podcast, whether they represent a jail or a haunted museum or a haunted location, or you represent a paranormal team, just shout on out and let us know, because we'd love to have them on as a guest.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's all I've got as far as events. I know we've got a lot of different events going forward. I mean, with Goblin Con and some motorcycle rides and that sort of thing coming up in the next little bit, but don't want to overload people.
Yeah, it's a little bit further down the line.
Yeah. So, so you're just getting back in town. I know you had done a post. You were just getting back in town and had seen some pretty cool things while you were on your trip.
I did. Yeah. I went out to Colorado. My twin sister was getting a national award out there. She does a lot of stuff at the University of Central Florida, and she runs their online program and their professional development program that she has actually put together and implemented. And I honestly don't understand all the nuances of it, but apparently it's a really big deal. So there was a national organization that gave her an award. So very excited to be out there, but did get to visit some interesting places. We visited Estes Park, which of course is where the Stanley Hotel is. And if you follow either my page or Soul Sisters Paranormal, we did take a very different tour out there. So in 2023, the Stanley Hotel really took over. Yeah, there you go. There's some good pictures. The Stanley Hotel took over the Frozen Dead Guy days. And if you haven't heard of this, long story short, there was a Norwegian that died in 1989, and his grandson lived in Nederland, Colorado, which is about 45 minutes from Estes Park there in the Stanley Hotel. And they didn't know what to do with his body. So the grandson said, we'll send him over to Colorado and I'll put him on ice. And that's exactly what he did. He stuffed him in a tough shed on this little hill in Nederland, Colorado, and packed him in dry ice. And he just kept, every month he would just go in and refresh the dry ice on this guy. And so in 2023, the Nederland really kind of said that the festival was outgrowing it. So they had a festival where they actually had races and coffin runs and all this other stuff, but it was getting too big for Nederland, Colorado. So Stanley Hotel said that they'd take it over. And there's apparently this company called Alcor, which does cryogenic freezing, if you're interested in that. And for the sum of $200,000, after you pass, they'll freeze your body in cryogenic solution and hang you upside down in one of those metal things they call a devoir. And there you can stay until they either find a medical cure for you or they decide to open you up at some point in the future. But so the Stanley Hotel had they took their ice house and they set up this whole cryogenic museum there, and you can go in and you can see the devoir where the gentleman is, and they took over the whole Frozen Dead Guy Day festival. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I got you a t-shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Trying to see if I can show that.
Yeah, the Frozen Dead Guy days there. That's one of the t-shirts.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. So if you have not been to the Stanley Hotel, this is another tour that you can take, the Frozen Dead Guy tour, which is kind of interesting. But of course, they have history tours, they have paranormal tours. And if you're familiar with Stephen King's The Shining, obviously that's where that was set. So it's just a great location. Estes Park is always a lot of fun. So if you saw my post about that, that's what we were doing out there. And then I posted on Soul Sisters Paranormal that we were leaving Denver International Airport. And, if you haven't heard any of the conspiracy theories about DIA, and within 5 minutes of putting that post up, all of my accounts were blocked and restricted and frozen, and I could not do anything on any of my accounts until I deleted that post. So not sure what somebody on Facebook doesn't want us to see, but if you have not Googled the conspiracy theories from Denver International Airport, it's kind of an interesting read.
Yeah, it's something that I've heard about ever since the first flight I ever took was out to Denver and Estes Park. That was the first time I ever flew. And so I think I flew Frontier, so it was just a little small, and that was one of the first things when I was researching. The first thing when I was actually looking at trying to find a map of the airport for myself, just not being a nervous flyer, but trying to, know where I was going and everything. And the first thing I found, instead of finding a map, was conspiracy theories on Denver International Airport, which was pretty wild.
Yeah. I worked out there for 6 years. I actually worked at the airport. And I loved it. I love everything about DIA, but you actually hear the stories. Now, there are tunnels that run through it. That is a fact. They have the trains running through the tunnels from Concourse A, B, and C to the main terminal there. So there are tunnels down there. But I also taught aviation security out at Denver Metro State College there. And, those students have a lot of ideas about the conspiracy theories as well, because, you've got this airport that's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There was no real reason to build it in 1980 or 1995, I think it was. So it was kind of a drain on the economy at that time. But right now it's one of the busiest airports in the world. And there's a lot of conspiracies about the airport itself, about the city of Denver. They've got that blue horse out there. It's a blue Mustang. Yeah, they call it Lucifer. But that is supposed to have cursed the airport as well, just because when it was commissioned in 1998, I believe it was, Denver spent a lot of money to get that thing finished, but the head fell off. It killed the artist who was the actual sculptor of it, the creator of the sculpture. So it killed him before he was able to get it finished. So finally, it was in 2008. It was completed by his family. So just a lot of different things. And but like I said, what I found really weird was when I posted just the two words conspiracy theory and DIA, instantly within a minute, all of my accounts were frozen until I deleted that post.
Well, and as well as I do, we've talked about this multiple times from my podcast that I do, that there are typically two topics that if I go talking about either of these two topics, something inevitably happens with either the live stream, with the guest, and I'll actually add a third topic because when we had a demonologist on the show talking about religion, it did the same thing it did, but there's always three different topics for me. And, I think that we'll just call them CSs. I don't know. Apparently, people can't put certain things down there, or they'll get the CTs. Yes, they'll get kicked off if you can't say. You got to say unalived. It's so stupid. All of this.
It is. But
now.
Yeah, but Denver International Airport, I mean, it runs all three. There's alien conspiracy theories that there's aliens underneath it, that it was built to cover up this alien civilization, if you will. The Illuminati, that's another conspiracy theory that was built by the Illuminati to hide some of their secrets. New World Order stuff, just a whole bunch of conspiracy theories that surround that airport. So that's why I took some different pictures, because I thought it would be a fun post, right? I'm there, and that's actually the first time any of my accounts had ever been restricted, and to have all of them, because I'm obviously associated with the jail, with rugby, with Soul Sisters, and with mine. Yeah, and I'm still alive to talk about it tonight. That's right, Susan.
Yeah, we're being careful our words that we choose. Because it could very well kick us off.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then we know something's going on. But it just really kind of took me by surprise, and I couldn't do a thing. But then I went and deleted that post, and within 30 seconds, everything was fine. I was able to comment on everything else. I was able to give reactions to everything else and post. So I don't know who was monitoring my situation at that point, but they obviously didn't like what I was talking about.
You're actually really fortunate that fixed your problem, because
I mean, it took me, because I had made the post, and then I jumped over to my personal account, and I commented on somebody who had commented on a post, and it said that there's a messaging error. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So then I went to one of the jails, and I went to Rugby After Dark. I couldn't comment on any of those. It kept giving me this error, and I went to make just a test post on either Soul Sisters or mine, and nothing. It wouldn't let me do a thing. And then I'm like, I'm wondering if it's because I said DIA and conspiracy theories. And so I went back and deleted the post, and it's 30 seconds. After 30 seconds after I deleted it, everything was fine. So
I should have tried making a comment, because I'm wondering if it restricted you from commenting on the jail and rugby's page, or if it
It did.
actually restricted. But I mean, I wondered if it would have restricted the page
Oh, the
itself.
page. I see.
Yeah, like if I could have done that, because we're both connected to that page. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd be
but
interested
I
to
mean,
see
I
that.
think it was, yeah, we should have tried that, but I
Yeah.
know as Chris Sumner or Soul Sisters Paranormal couldn't do a thing.
Yeah.
So that was it was pretty interesting. But if you want, and we can expound on this topic later if anybody wants to talk about CTs. But otherwise, just go to Google and type in DIA conspiracy theories, and you'll see the whole litany that comes up with it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that kind of ties in, because like there's, you mentioned Lucifer, and I mean, there's so many different CTs about statues and stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, there's some amazing ones, pretty creepy ones about the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, and that being actually a statue of Lucifer,
Mhm.
and the way they tie that in with the bearer of light and the chains, and there's a lot of symbolism and stuff when you start looking at all of that, that sort of leads you to looking at Illuminati and Satanism, different things of that nature.
Mhm.
It's really pretty fascinating, and I've always been someone that's been fascinated by conspiracy theories, but
Okay.
I've also been somebody that has always been like, now wait a minute, a lot of things have to really line up for this just to be perfect. But
Mhm.
the more time goes on, the more things we experience, I would probably have to say there's times I'm so far down the rabbit hole that there's no crawling back. And I don't know, I'm more of a believer in those type of things now than in, I guess, probably reality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Denver is one of those places, or the airport is one of those places where when you start walking through and you start really noticing, a lot of people as they're traveling back and forth, you're not paying a lot of attention other than to get to the gate, get through security, get to your plane. But when you work at an airport, which is, I absolutely love it. I love working in airports. I did it for years. You watch. And when you're able to be in that environment and you watch and you notice things like there's gargoyles all around
Mm-hmm.
DIA. If you go to the baggage claim and you just look around, there's gargoyles all around baggage claim. The murals that they have there. Now, right now, Denver is undergoing a lot of construction, so those murals are covered up. Whether or not they bring them back, I don't know. But the murals they had a lot of symbolism through there. And if you just sat and just looked at the symbolism through there, you can find pictures on Google. Some of the things that were referenced, you kind of, when you start looking at the other elements, the commission for the artwork, I believe, was called the New World Airport Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of take that into account. And still, when you start adding some of these things up, it's like, maybe there is something to this, but obviously Denver airport doesn't embrace it. In fact, they do a lot of spoof pages on it and stuff like that. But when you really kind of look through it, it's kind of fascinating.
I think all of that is, and there's are there any conspiracy, and of course we can talk more about this at another time, but since we've kind of got a little bit of time to kill here, are there any conspiracy theories that you're kind of rolling on right now that you enjoy, or that you're kind of digging into?
Not as much as you, but I will say, after flying back through Denver, because I hadn't been back for about 5 years now. So, just kind of bringing all of this stuff up, but, going back to the statue, the blue Mustang,
Yeah,
or the locals call it Lucifer.
I'm gonna pull it up just
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's like a 36-foot tall statue. It's all made out of fiberglass, but while the author, the sculptor was putting it together, the artist was putting it together, he had a heart attack. He didn't think he could finish it. Denver sued him and said, "You're going to finish this thing." And so he said, "Okay." He got back to work on it, and the head ends up falling off and crushing him and killing him there in his studio. So you got to kind of think, what's going on here? Why wasn't this thing, in the grand scheme of things, why was this such a hard piece of artwork for him? There it is. Yeah. hard piece of artwork for him to put together. And
it's weird.
Yeah, Nancy, if you freeze, you know why. It is weird. I think it was supposed to be a part of a larger installation. I think there was supposed to be buffalo and stuff around it. But they thought that was insensitive to the buffalo that had been killed. So they just went with this Mustang. And the fact that it has red glowing eyes is kind of wild. At night, the thing really looks menacing, but it's right there at the entrance to the airport. And, when you kind of look at it and you kind of go through the history of it, like, maybe there is something to this curse thing.
Yeah, I mean, why be insensitive to the buffalo when you can, support the demonic horse?
Yeah, there you go. But I know that you are into a lot of conspiracy theories now. You're like you said, you kind of go down the TikTok rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, that to me, that's. Some people have bedtime stories, and as I fall asleep to TikTok conspiracy theories, and sometimes it keeps me up half the night. I mean, just because it's and you kind of have to filter through what is what's people just the whole for entertainment purposes only, and what has a little something more to it. But I'm really going down the rabbit hole right now of the Barron Trump books. And I'm not trying to get political or anything at this point, because we both know we could both get political on things, but it really is fascinating as far as time travel is concerned. The book, and I'll just pull that up because I'm gonna order that book, I think, because it really is pretty wild. But let's see.
So for those who don't know, there was a book called the Barron Collection, right?
Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Well, it's the Barron Trump Collection. There's let's see, I'm pulling it up here. It's a series of books.
Yeah, it was written in the early 1900s, correct?
No, 1890.
Okay, 1890, so just before the 1900s. And it's the story about, well, you know it more than I do, but it's a story about the main character. His name is Barron Trump. He's a kid. And he goes through all of these time-traveling adventures. And, the fact that this was written before the 1900s and some of the things that are
listed in there,
echoing what's going on today. Go ahead.
Yeah, the names, the last president is the book, and one of the books in it, the series, and it's his sidekick is named Don, and there is a not an insurrection, but there's they storm his house there on Fifth Avenue. I mean, it really parallels a lot of interesting things, and we can talk more about this at another time. But I'm going to order this book because I've been reading excerpts and stuff, and it's really interesting how I don't know, it makes you sort of stop and think, could time travel be completely a real thing? Because how could they have written about this stuff in the 1890s and it be just, I don't know,
spot on to what's going on?
It is very much spot on. I've been listening to several different podcasts that have talked about some of the different things in these books and how it kind of parallels today, and it makes you really stop and wonder, could there be something to time travel? Could there be something to, I won't say see in the future and that sort of thing, but it really is almost kind of scary. And I think a possible book club episode would be
fun.
Good. And
Susan, that's a great idea.
It really is, because in talking about this book, I was listening to a commentator on it actually last night, and she was saying, I would have thought that this was not a real thing had I not gone and seen the book is in the Library of Congress from that time period. So it's not a spoof and anything that's been just created. It's it's a legit book from that time.
I wonder if it's in the rugby library.
Oh, well, that would be right around that time.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the library was
First edition.
1892. Yeah. Let's see if we can go find it. That'd be pretty wild. But I like the idea of a book club.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get that moving, because that's a great idea.
And Odie says he believes in curses. I think that's fascinating too, when you start looking at family curses. And he's working on a book there about a curse. Well, I mean, it ties into a curse with the lynch, and it's a historical book that ties into the lynching, Cal Loxton. Yeah. So we need to have you on at some point again to kind of talk about that, because I think that is fascinating, because they've been able to, I think that they actually had some repercussions from that curse that where he was hung. I don't want to say too much about it. I'm trying not to say a whole lot about it, but
yeah. So, I mean, it's a fascinating topic, and, all of that stuff was kind of going through my mind there while we had some time to kill at Denver, at the airport, because it really does kind of make you think about certain things. And, whether or not there is conspiracy theories or curses or whatever, when you start adding things up and certain things happen, I mean, there's only so long you can believe in coincidences. And that usually stops about one or two things into the line of progression. So you got to kind of have to look and see what's going on with it.
Absolutely. Mandela effects. That's another one that
that's awesome. That's so fun.
Oh my gosh, I can get lost in Mandela effects. And there seems to be more and more that pops up. And I swear, I mean, because like the Bernstein Bears, whatever.
It was the Bernstein Bears.
It was the Bernstein
It was not
Bears.
the Bernstein Bears. I'm sorry.
No.
Raise your hand over here in the comments. Another thing, they said that Ed McMahon was not the guy that delivered the check for Publishers Clearinghouse. I grew up watching those commercials of Ed McMahon taking the Publishers Clearinghouse check to these people. And it was funny because you and I were watching an episode of Friends. And one of the lines was that Phoebe said, maybe Ed McMahon will show up at your house with a check. So, I mean, why would she say that? Why would that be in the script of Friends if it didn't happen? I tell you,
what was that one? Shazam, the genie.
I saw it. I mean, I saw that movie. I remember seeing Shazam with Sinbad.
Shaquille O'Neal or Sinbad.
Yeah. But
they're trying to say it's somebody else. I thought it was Shaq.
It was, but it wasn't called Shazam. It was called something like it, but not Shazam.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was, but and going back to the start of it, I thought Nelson Mandela had died much earlier than he did.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a full.
I think that'd be fun.
I think it'd be fun on those sort of things. And like I said, don't even get me started on conspiracies, because there's so many that we could probably do like a whole series on that. And I tell you, I'm excited the fact that they're releasing the ML King and the Kennedy files. I don't know that I'm actually going to read those thousands of pages on the Kennedy ones, but I'm very interested in that. I'm interested to see if any of the conspiracies are true.
Yep. It is. It's quite fascinating what's going on right now, all the information that's out there. But, in the comments, you put out there what your favorite conspiracy theories are, or what your most interesting Mandela effect thought is. And we'll do a podcast on those. We'll do some episodes on those, and we'll research those and kind of bring them out, and we'll all talk about them. But kind of like Susan's idea of a book club, I think that's a great idea. We all get the book. We do a quick little rehash of a chapter every time we do a podcast, or every time we do an episode. I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or once a month we do the first 5 chapters and the next 10 chapter or whatever, we can flesh out those details. But getting your comments over here, being involved and getting what you guys want to talk about or what you think, it's a lot of fun to really bring you all into the conversation.
Yeah. And we're going to still try to do some more live investigations and stuff. We did some last year. Chris had mentioned possibly doing something there with the eclipse. I do want to mention that I don't know if you guys have been seeing anything about this on Facebook about live streams and such. So we do broadcast on the Historic Scott County Jail Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Historic Rugby After Dark Facebook page. Apparently, Facebook is not going to house live streams over 30 days anymore. So if you're watching this podcast on Facebook, we're going to try and see. I think my solution to that is going to be to download it and then actually repost it as a video and not as a live. But if we don't do that, these live streams will go away after a certain period of time. So you won't be able to go back and watch it unless you watch it on our YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed to that page, definitely go and do that, because as far as I know, nothing is going down with YouTube, but you never know.
Yeah.
And so, but we may have to make sure that we download that sort of thing, because I don't want our live investigations to disappear.
Yeah. And if you joined us a little bit late, early in the podcast, we were kicking around the idea of doing a live investigation Saturday morning at 6:15 a.m. to coincide with the solar eclipse. It might be a little early for Miranda, could be a little early for me, but we will let you know tomorrow if we decide to do that. So if you want to get up early and watch a live investigation at the jail during the solar eclipse, which starts around I actually think it starts around 5 a.m., but it's going to reach its peak around 6:15 a.m. So it may be something we start around 6 a.m. Again, not set in stone, but last time we had a solar eclipse, we did get some interesting activity. So it may be something that we do on Saturday. So
hey, maybe what we can do, not to interrupt, maybe what we can do is set a camera up with tools over there and go live from our respective homes,
bedrooms.
Yes, and like actually ask questions not being there and see if anything reacts during the eclipse.
Yeah, either that or we just record the whole thing and play back later. Set it up the night before. But do remember there is a solar eclipse on Saturday morning, very early. But we were going to see if we can get some interesting activity at the jail.
Yes. So definitely, stay tuned for all of that. And Nancy asked about my cot there. Now, so it was a military cot, a military bed cot. And so I don't know for sure if it was used in a military hospital or not, but I did do a live investigation on my show last week on that, and I did it from here at my farmhouse. And so we're going to try some different experiments with that. We are going to take it over to the jail and do a live investigation with it over there at some point, but we will be reviewing that evidence, that episode tonight on my show at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if anyone is interested, they can go on over to the to the Ghost Biker Explorations Facebook or YouTube channel, and we'll be reviewing that. So thank you for asking about that. And again, just want to reiterate, we will be closed on Saturday between the hours of 11 and 4, and we will be at the Vet City Paracon. So if you
Bowling Green.
Yes, I was going to say, if you want to see us, come on up to Bowling Green. And then also don't forget about our Blessing of the Bike event that's going to take place on April 12th.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for hanging with us tonight. I know it's just kind of a laid back episode. We are, again, lining up guests. So we will go back to being having guests on our podcast, as well as continuing with our They Did Time series.
Yeah.
But otherwise, thank you all so much for all your comments, suggestions, questions. We hope everybody has a great night, and just thank you for spending an hour with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Good night, everyone.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.